is Jade, and I am interviewing. Oh, this really sucks. I forgot your name.
Well, you can start over. It's Carabella Valise, Jade. You can call me Bella.
Bella. Well, Bella, would you like to say a few words on your life in Second Life?
Uh, well, sure. Let's see. I think you wanted me to start with how I found out about Second Life and how I joined, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll try and make the story shorter this time because I know we've been through interviews before and it's been a long story. But basically, I was looking for a hobby or a craft or something that I could do in real life that cost me zero amount of money, because at the time I was married when I joined Second Life. I was married in real life, and my husband was complaining about all my hobbies and things that I love to do, like reading and crafts and things like that. They were all costing way too much money. And he kept asking me to find another thing. And, then I went into adventure games, and like I said, books and crafts and all this stuff, and it all costs money. So one day, it was right after the Lord of the Rings trilogy came out, and they had a big article on a magazine at the Barnes and Noble's bookstore. And I was reading an article about it, and then it mentioned Second Life, and you could play, you could play a elf, you could play, you could be like do role play, like you were in Lord of the Rings. And I thought, oh wow, that sounds like fun. So I joined to become an elf and to become like Arwen, and never not once have I role played as an elf or gotten to go in a type of thing that I wanted to get into. I got in here and I thought it was free, so I joined up. And it was going to make my husband happy because it was free. But it ended up being the most expensive game I think I've ever played in my life. Because once you get in here, there are a ton of freebies that you can do, and you can completely play this game for free. But also, if you want to have like the best of the best, you can come into Second Life and buy the house of your dreams for $5 or $10, and pretend that this is your home in real life, and it's a lot of fun to do that. I mean, it's kind of like going back to being a kid and playing house again. And so anyway, you can live in a castle. You can live in anything. A castle might cost you $20, in real life. And but a regular house, you can buy those sometimes but you can find them for free. Or you can buy them, or you can build them, like I build them as well. So now I'm starting to try to build my own stuff instead of buy it all the time. But that's because I spend an enormous amount of money in this game. But it was, excuse me, it was something that I did because it was free, and it sounded like a lot of fun, and it would be a neat hobby. And that's how I got in.
And, well, besides getting in, what else have you been doing in the game?
What else have I been doing in the game?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, your mic was coming through a little bit fuzzy for me. Oh, and by the way, thank you for inviting me to be on your show, by the way.
You're always welcome.
Let's see. Well, I've found lots of hobbies and stuff that I've loved in this game. I think the very first thing I did in Second Life was become a bartender, which there is, of course, you can't drink. You have to pretend like you're drinking, but It was basically a hostess at a nightclub, and I did it for free. And sometimes people would tip me, sometimes not. I didn't do it for the tips. I did it just because it was fun. And then I got off that, and I just played and met people and just basically socialized for the first several years I was in here. I didn't learn anything. I didn't want to learn how to build. I didn't want to learn how to do anything. All I wanted to do was socialize. And that's what I did, and I had a great time too. And then uh, the next thing I did after that, where I would say it was kind of a job in a way, and this or that actually experienced it with me. Um, the next thing, my one of my best friends in Second Life said that has a dance class or a dance team that she is forming, and she's wanting volunteers to be on the team. And I said, wow, that sounds like fun. And she said, well, everybody's invited to go watch. And I said, okay, well, so I went with her. And the lady's name was Winsong Charming. We call her Wendy. And she owned the It Girls and Fellas dance team. And I've got two former members of that dance team with me here today. But anyway, Wendy and Wild was the other owner. They had this dance team, and I was sitting in the audience, and not only did she get my friend Mishi up there on stage to dance, she pulled me up there. She said, Bella, are you interested? I said, sure. And she said, well, hop on up here and dance. And so we got up there and we danced, and I was addicted. We had a dance team of probably about 40 people. We were the best dance team in Second Life at the time. 43 people, I think, at our height on the team, at our, maximum capacity. It was a huge team. Everybody wanted to be there. All the people were very reliable. They showed up for all the practices. This went on for years, and we were recognized by all kinds of people. And then eventually, so I did that for probably 5 or 6 years of my life, and my real life and my Second Life, 5 or 6 years on that team. And it's sad that it went away, but it did. But anyway, the first 3 years, I'd say the first 3 or 4 years, we had a very loyal team. Everybody stayed with it. And sadly, it broke apart. The two owners broke ties, and so everybody kind of split up, and that was kind of the beginning of the end. Is when the two owners unpaired, because together they were just, those two girls together were just an outfit to be, so I don't know, they were just amazing together. They worked very well together, and they inspired all of us very much so. And then after that, after the dance team, or at the same time as the dance team, there was, I had gone through in real life a separation and a divorce, and I started dating somebody I was seeing here on the computer. And basically he was on a football team in here, so he suggested that I be part of the cheerleaders. So I started cheerleading, and I did that for 3 or 4 years as well. And then and it was for a professional football team. They actually came in and they played actual football, and they had cheerleaders on the sidelines, and they had fans, and it was a huge organization. There were at least 600 people that were active in the group that actually played and participated in the sport of football in some way or another. And then we had our group members, which were more than the 600. So it was a huge group of probably 2,000 people in that group. And it could have been even more. It was a growing thing, and it was very popular at the time. So I did the professional cheerleading for several years, like I said. And then after cheerleading, I had wandered around Second Life and ran into a role play sim where they hired me as the editor-in-chief of their newspaper. So I started writing a newspaper on the side for this little town in Second Life. And I always write with comedy. I try and do everything with a little bit of comedy in it. And they really liked my paper because it made them laugh. It wasn't always serious and scary and, really official like everybody was used to. I always added something funny to it, which really it's kind of frowned upon in the role play community because they like things to be certain particular ways, but I tended to get away with a lot of stuff. And so they really loved me, and then I went to a different role play land, and they really loved me, hired me for the same thing, but we never really got it going there. And then I ended up going to the last RP Sim, which I'll mention their name because there I actually got more involved, which was Dreamville. And Dreamville is still a role play community. It's been around for almost 10 years now. I think their founding date was 2015, and it's 2010 years. For 5 or 6 of those years, we were very popular. There were a lot of people that came there and lived, but the owners split up again, and when owners do that, unfortunately, teams kind of fall apart sometimes. And when that happened, one of the owners wanted to change the whole look of the town and everything. And when that happened, we kind of lost all the our regulars that we had that moved in because the town was 100% full for years. There was a waiting list to get into that place. But anyway, they hired me before they even got popular, when there was only like, I don't know, maybe 6 people living there. They hired me to be their editor-in-chief as well. Well, I went there to be editor-in-chief, and I never got the newspaper started because they graduated me to doing decorations in the town. And this was a sim that was owned by 4 or 5 women that all went in together that owned Dreamville. And there were 4 sims at the time. And anyway, let me know when our time runs over, okay? Because I'll just keep chatting forever. But anyway,
Hey, you talk as long as you want.
yeah, I'm gonna try and make it a quick interview for you. But anyway, I started working there, and I ended up being decorator. Then I ended up being landscaper. Then I ended up being manager, and then I ended up being the estate manager, which I still am today. 2 people that live there. It's reduced itself down to 1 sim, and there's 1 owner that owns it now instead of 4. The other ones retired because they basically moved on with their lives and had real lives that they wanted to go into. And one was getting her degree at college, and then the other one works full time all the time. And then the other owner is she's still involved too, but she doesn't do. She handles the ins and outs of the the town and things like that, anything that goes wrong or anything that needs fixing, and as well as I do. We're the only two left besides the owner, and then the other one left too. So it's just kind of evolved that way. And then I got myself. I dipped my self into. I did some quick modeling, some quick beauty pageant stuff. I've got another show that I commentate on, which is my sister owns in Second Life, and we have a show as well. That's kind of like, and so basically I've done a little bit of pretty much everything. I can't, there's more I've done. I just can't remember it all. Now I build. I opened up a professional landscaping company to where I've decorated over around 200 Sims now. I'm thinking it's gotta be, because I've been doing it for years. Excuse me. And let's see, I opened that company, and now I'm building houses. So it's like I jump into everything that I can jump into that I kind of always wanted to do in real life that I never got to do. So say it's basically whatever fantasy you want to live out in Second Life, you can, something you wanted to do in real life, you can try it out in here. And if you fail, nobody knows it. And you don't even, most of the time people don't even know our real names behind these avatars. And you can just do it all in animosity and it not even affect you in real life. Or you can get into it like I do and think, honestly, I think with all the jobs and things that I've done in this game, that I have actually gained a certain amount of knowledge where I could go out and take my skills that I've learned in this game to real life and actually apply it towards job in real life. Like I've been wedding planner in here. I've done lots of weddings. I've done lots of huge events. I'm very involved in, which is that's the biggest thing that I like to do, and because they really make it. In fact, Relay for Life and Second Life is we are the #1 game on raising money for cancer patients in the world, in real life. We are the #1 game to raise as much money as we do, and we raise a lot of money. And that's really hard when you think about it, because if you ask somebody for $100 or 100 Linden dollar donation to Second Life, and people in the game think, oh, 100 Lindens, you kind of associate it with $100, but 100 Lindens is probably about, I don't know, 25 cents or 20 cents, something like that. Oh, 100 Lindens is 20 cents, I mean, it's change you could find in your couch in real life that slip beneath the cushions, And
Yeah,
so if you...
the last time I did a check, it was about 250 to 1.
Yeah, so if you consider that we are raising 20 cents here and 20 cents there, and then we've gotten up to, I forgot how much money. I wished I would have checked it before I came on this interview, but it's hundreds of thousands of dollars that we've made in the last 10 years in Second Life. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, not tens of thousands. We're close to $1 million. I know that. Or getting up there. We have raised that much money by collecting 20 cents at a time from all these little avatars in here. So that's a lot of work, and that's really hard to do. Be much easier to tell them, hey, do you have $5 in real life you can send for this, because it's only the price of a McDonald's cheeseburger and fries. $5, and people are like, oh yeah, I can afford $5. But if you ask them for 100 lindens in Second Life, it's like asking for $1 million, because they think of it. You think of your money as much bigger in Second Life, because it kind of, I don't know. It's kind of strange. Like I said, you can buy a house for $5 in real life, but it might be 2,000, lindens in Second Life or whatever. Or let's see, 500 lindens in Second Life is how much?
That'd be $2.
Let's see. I'm gonna put it in here. Let's see, 500 lindens.
250 to 1. That's
It's
$2.
It's $3.51. So you can buy a really nice house for $3.51. And if you buy a super nice house, you might spend $6 and get the house of your dreams. So it's you kind of compare it to that. You cannot buy a house in real life for $6 and something cents. So
Yeah,
that's
but
how you can.
try the Second Life house on a rainy day.
Yeah, well, this is a rainy day. Can you see the rain outside?
Yeah, but what I mean is when I'm in my real life, it's,
Real life rainy day.
and how would you like to interview some of your friends that you brought along?
Oh yeah, I've got some a lot of friends that would love to be interviewed. So that's kind of my SL story, and if you like, we can move on to them. Unless there's any other questions you have for me.
I can't think of any right now. You seem to.
Oh, that's because I've talked to you lots before this interview, so I kind of cheated. I knew you asked me, so. All right. Well, this is great. Thank you so much, Dave, for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
And believe it or not, it's 23 minutes.
Okay, perfect.